Success is achieved by the person who continues trying even after failure. Napoleon Hill, let that sink in. Success doesn't belong to the fearless. It belongs to the relentless, to the one who gets knocked down and refuses to stay there, to the one who stares failure in the face and says, "I'm not done yet." Picture a mighty river. It doesn't break stone by force, it breaks it by never stopping. That's what greatness looks like, not a flash of brilliance, but a steady, unshakable will. You don't rise by avoiding failure, you rise because you keep moving through it. And yes, failure hurts. That sting when the business flops, the dream job slips away, or the plan falls apart, it feels like the end. But here's the truth Hill understood. It's never the end unless you stop. That pain? It's not a sign to quit. It's a signal that you're close. Because most people give up right before the breakthrough. They let fear dig its claws into their mind, whispering, "You're not good enough. You're not ready. Just stop." And many do. They stop. They settle. They turn away from the edge of greatness and walk back into mediocrity. But not you. Not anymore. You were built to keep going. You were built to turn setbacks into strategy and failure into fuel. Because success doesn't ask, "Did you fall?" It asks, "Did you get back up?" But here's the turning point. Success isn't reserved for the flawless or the lucky. It's for those who keep pushing forward. Take Thomas Edison, who endured over 1,000 failed attempts to invent the light bulb, each one a lesson that fueled his next try. His story reminds us that failure isn't the end. It's a teacher, a forge where resilience is born through repeated effort. So, why do so many of us freeze after a setback, waiting endlessly for the right moment that never arrives? We chase motivation like a mirage, believing we must feel ready before retrying, as if confidence is a prerequisite rather than a result. After a job rejection, for instance, you might sit and wait for that spark of energy, only to find days turning into weeks of inaction. This myth traps us in a loop where the perfect conditions become an excuse and opportunities slip away like sand through fingers. Indecision then takes hold, turning a simple setback into a mountain of overanalysis that halts all progress. You know the feeling. After a project flops, you dissect every detail without committing to a new plan, lost in a fog of uncertainty. Napoleon Hill called this self-sabotage, a thief that steals your momentum and leaves you stagnant. Fear amplifies it all, the dread of another failure looming like a storm cloud, making embarrassment feel like an insurmountable barrier. Think of an athlete who loses a big game and quits, terrified of facing more defeats, their dreams fading into the background noise of life. These emotions are universal, but they don't have to define us. Instead, they can be the spark that ignites our next action. The real solution lies in immediate action, that bold step forward even when everything inside screams to wait. Action has a magical power. It creates momentum, turning hesitation into energy and fear into fuel. For example, after a business failure, revising and relaunching your product right away can reveal fresh insights and build your resolve. As Hill taught, action cures fear because doing something, anything, breaks the cycle of doubt and propels you onward. Building decisiveness is key. Don't let failure linger. Make a firm decision to try again without delay. Try this. Adopt a 24-hour rule where within a day of any setback, you choose one small adjustment and act on it immediately. This simple habit transforms hesitation into habit, turning what feels impossible into a series of manageable steps. Now, let's practice the first step. Start with something tiny, achievable, right in the shadow of your last failure. If you've stumbled in your fitness journey, just commit to 5 minutes of exercise today. That small act can shatter the inertia holding you back. Right now, pause and think. What's one tiny step you can take toward your stalled goal? Make it real, jot it down, then do it, because overcoming hesitation begins with that first, courageous move. Facing fear head on is the next vital piece. It's not about eliminating fear, but about acting despite it. Each time you push forward after a failure, fear loses its grip, like a wave that crashes but eventually recedes. Consider the entrepreneur who fears another flop but launches anyway, only to find that repeated tries build unshakable confidence. Napoleon Hill's wisdom shines here. Fear is just a mental barrier, and action is the tool that dismantles it. Through this process, you learn that failure isn't a dead end. It's a classroom full of lessons waiting to be uncovered. Look at J.K. Rowling, rejected by countless publishers before Harry Potter became a phenomenon. Each no taught her to refine her craft. Reframe your failures as data points, opportunities to grow smarter and stronger with every attempt. So, embrace the try again mindset. It's not about getting it right the first time, but about evolving through each misstep. At the heart of all this is self-discipline, the quiet force that keeps you going when motivation fades. True success, as Hill believed, comes from disciplined persistence, like a boxer who rises after every knockdown, ready for the next round. Without discipline, failures can break you. With it, they become stepping stones to greater heights. Start building positive habits to anchor your efforts. Daily reflection on your setbacks can turn losses into powerful lessons. Try journaling each evening. Write down what went wrong, what you learned, and how you'll adjust for the next try. Combine this with consistent goal reviews, checking in weekly to maintain your momentum and ward off complacency. Routine small actions are your allies. Even on tough days, commit to one focused effort, like reading an inspiring quote or planning your retry. These habits create a rhythm of resilience where discipline becomes second nature, guiding you through the toughest storms. Now, let's talk about developing a clear vision and goals, because without them, persistence can feel aimless. Crystal clear goals act as your North Star, providing motivation to keep trying even when failures pile up. After a career setback, for instance, set a specific goal like secure 3 new interviews this month and let it pull you forward. Hill knew that definite goals fuel persistence, transforming vague hopes into tangible steps that withstand defeat. To make this work, break your goals into failure-proof steps that ensure steady progress. Start with step 1. Identify the root cause of your last failure, digging deep to understand what truly went wrong. Then, step 2. Set a revised goal with clear milestones, making it specific and achievable to build your confidence. Next, step 3. Create a timeline for your retries, scheduling actions to keep the momentum alive. Finally, step 4. Build an accountability, like sharing your progress with a mentor or friend who can encourage you along the way. Here's a quick template to adapt. My goal is specific outcome. My first step is act, and I'll check in on date. Use this approach, and you'll find that clear vision turns abstract persistence into a roadmap for success. As we wrap this up, remember the core idea. Success doesn't chase motivation. It follows persistent action, as Napoleon Hill so wisely taught. It's reserved for those who continue trying, even after failure, because each attempt weaves the threads of resilience into a tapestry of triumph. You've heard the stories, felt the emotions, and now it's time to act. Don't let another day slip by in hesitation. Take that one small step today. Revisit a past failure, outline a simple plan, and commit to trying again. Imagine the relief, the growth, the eventual victory that awaits on the other side of your fears. You're not alone in this. Every great achiever has walked this path, turning setbacks into comebacks. So, rise up, shake off the dust, and step forward. Your future self is cheering you on. Don't wait for the storm to pass. Learn to try in the rain, for that's where true strength is forged. Start now with whatever you have, and watch as your failures transform into the foundation of your success. Remember, the person who keeps trying is the one who ultimately wins, and that person can be you. Let me begin with a powerful quote from Napoleon Hill. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. This simple truth reminds us that failure isn't the end. It's just a detour on the road to achievement. Think about it. How many times have you felt defeated after a setback, only to wonder what might have been if you'd pushed forward? Today, we're diving into why continuing to try, even after failure, is the real secret to success. Picture this. You've launched a dream project, but it crashes and burns, leaving you discouraged and full of self-doubt. That discouragement can spiral into a cycle of hesitation, where fear grips you, making every next step feel impossible. But here's the key. Success isn't for those who never fail. It's for those who refuse to stop trying. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He didn't invent the light bulb on the first try. It took over 1,000 attempts. Each failure taught him something new, building his resilience until he finally succeeded. So, if you're stuck in that cycle of stagnation, know that change starts with recognizing that persistent action is your greatest weapon. Now, let's explore why you're not taking action after a failure. One major reason is waiting for motivation to strike, like expecting a bolt of lightning to zap you into readiness. After a job rejection, you might sit back, hoping confidence will return on its own, but that perfect moment never arrives. This myth traps you in a loop, where days turn into weeks of inaction, and opportunities slip away. Remember, motivation follows action, not the other way around. Napoleon Hill knew this well. Another barrier is the failure to decide, where you overanalyze every detail of your setback without committing to a new plan. For instance, after a business launch flops, you might spend hours dissecting what went wrong, yet never move forward. Indecision becomes a form of self-sabotage, as Hill described, keeping you paralyzed when progress demands a choice. It's easy to get lost in the what ifs, but true success requires breaking free from that mental trap. Then there's fear and uncertainty, which loom large after repeated failures, whispering that another try will only bring more pain. Imagine an athlete who loses a big game and decides to quit, terrified of facing defeat again. It's a common story. This anxiety about embarrassment or unknown outcomes can feel overwhelming, but it's just a mental barrier. Hill taught that confronting these fears head-on is the only way to overcome them and keep moving. So, how do we break this cycle? The solution lies in immediate action. Taking action right after a failure creates momentum, turning hesitation into progress, even if it's imperfect. For example, if your business idea failed, don't wait, revise it and relaunch immediately to build energy. As Hill said, action cures fear, so every step you take chips away at that doubt. Building decisiveness is crucial. Make a firm decision to try again without delay. Try this. Implement a 24-hour rule. Within 24 hours of a failure, choose one small adjustment and act on it. This simple habit prevents hesitation from taking root and keeps you in control. Now, practice the first step. Start with something achievable, no matter how small. If you failed at a fitness goal, just do 5 minutes of exercise right now to break the inertia. Engage with this. Think of your last failure and identify one tiny step you can take today. Do it. Overcoming hesitation and fear is the next vital piece. Face your fears directly through repeated action and watch them lose their power over time. Consider an entrepreneur who fears another business flop but decides to push forward anyway. With each attempt, the anxiety fades, replaced by growing confidence, just as Hill promised. Learning through failure is where the real magic happens. Each setback is a teacher in disguise. Look at J.K. Rowling. She faced multiple rejections for Harry Potter, but each one refined her work and led to eventual success. Reframe your failures as data points. They provide lessons, skills, and growth that pave the way forward. So, instead of dwelling on the loss, ask yourself, what can I learn from this to try again, smarter? Moving on to cultivating self-discipline, which is the true key to keeping going after failure. Discipline isn't about fleeting motivation. It's the steady force that turns ordinary efforts into extraordinary results. As Hill put it, disciplined persistence is what separates achievers from dreamers, like a boxer who gets knocked down but keeps fighting. Build positive habits to support this discipline, starting with daily reflection on your failures. Journal about what went wrong and what you learned, turning setbacks into stepping stones. Make consistent goal reviews a routine, checking in daily to maintain your momentum. Incorporate small actions, like a failure debrief after each attempt, where you analyze and plan your next move. Over time, these habits transform discipline into second nature, fueling your persistence. Now, let's focus on developing a clear vision and goals to guide your efforts. Crystal clear goals act as your motivation anchor, especially when failures threaten to derail you. After a career setback, for instance, set a specific goal like secure 3 new interviews this month to stay focused. Hill believed that definite goals are the fuel for persistence, giving you direction amid the chaos. Break these goals into actionable, failure-resilient steps to ensure steady progress. Here's a step-by-step guide. First, identify the root cause of your failure. Second, set a revised goal with clear milestones to track your advancement. Third, create a timeline for your retries, making sure it's realistic yet challenging. Fourth, build an accountability, such as sharing your progress with a mentor or friend. Adapt this template to your situation. Write down your goal, break it into steps, and commit to action today. Finally, in conclusion, remember that success follows persistent action, as we've explored throughout. Echoing our topic, Napoleon Hill taught that success is reserved for those who continue trying, even after failure. Each attempt builds the resilience needed to turn setbacks into triumphs. Don't let fear or hesitation hold you back any longer. Take that one small step today, revisit a past failure, and outline a plan to try again. You've got the tools: action, discipline, clear goals, and an unyielding spirit. As Hill might say, the only real failure is giving up. So, rise up, keep trying, and watch your efforts blossom into success. Don't wait for the storm to pass. Learn to try in the rain. Start now and let your failures become the foundation of your greatest achievements. Remember, the person who succeeds is simply the one who refuses to stop. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure, as Napoleon Hill wisely stated. This powerful truth reminds us that failure isn't the end of the road, it's merely a detour on the path to achievement. Today, we're diving into why continuing to try, even after setbacks, is the key to unlocking your full potential. Imagine pouring your heart into a project, only to watch it crumble before your eyes. That discouragement can hit hard, filling you with self-doubt and the urge to quit. It's a cycle many face: initial excitement, a crushing failure, and then paralysis that keeps you stuck. For instance, you've launched a business, faced a failed product release, and now fear and hesitation hold you back from trying again. This stagnation robs you of growth and unfulfilled dreams that could have been realities. But here's the turning point. Success doesn't come from avoiding failure, it comes from pushing through it. Take Thomas Edison, who endured over 1,000 failed attempts before inventing the light bulb. He saw each one as a lesson, not a loss. So, why do so many people stop after one setback? Often, it's because we're waiting for the perfect motivation to strike. We tell ourselves, I'll try again when I feel ready, but that moment rarely arrives. After a job rejection, for example, you might wait for confidence to return instead of submitting more applications. This myth traps you in a loop of inaction, letting opportunities slip away. It's like standing at the edge of a pool, waiting for the water to feel just right before jumping in. You end up never swimming. Another barrier is the failure to decide, where indecision becomes your worst enemy. After a project flops, you might overanalyze every detail without committing to a new plan. Napoleon Hill called this self-sabotage, a mental trap that halts progress and prevents that crucial next try. Picture an artist who creates a piece that gets rejected. Instead of starting fresh, they ponder endlessly and never pick up the brush again. Fear and uncertainty compound this problem, making repeated failures seem unbearable. The anxiety of embarrassment or more setbacks can freeze you in place. Think of an athlete who loses a big game and fears another defeat so much that they quit training altogether. These emotions are common, but they lead to inevitable defeat if left unchecked. Now, let's shift to the solution. Immediate action is your greatest weapon against failure. Taking action right away, even if it's imperfect, generates the momentum you need to move forward. For example, after a business failure, simply revising your product and relaunching can spark new energy and insights. As Hill taught, action cures fear, breaking the cycle of doubt with every step you take. Building decisiveness means making firm decisions without delay. Don't let hesitation steal your time. Try implementing a 24-hour rule. Within 24 hours of a failure, decide on one small adjustment and act on it immediately. This practice turns vague intentions into real progress, propelling you toward success. Start with the first step, no matter how tiny it seems. If you failed at a fitness goal, just do 5 minutes of exercise right now to shatter the inertia. Right now, think of your last failure and identify one tiny step you can take today. Go ahead, jot it down. Overcoming hesitation and fear requires facing them head on through repeated action. Each time you push forward despite the nerves, that fear loses its grip on you. Consider an entrepreneur who fears another business flop, but decides to try a new idea anyway. With every attempt, their anxiety fades and confidence builds, just as Hill described. Learning through failure is where the real magic happens. It's not about avoiding mistakes, but using them as teachers. Look at J.K. Rowling, who faced multiple rejections for Harry Potter before it became a global phenomenon. Each no taught her valuable lessons, refining her work and strengthening her resolve. Reframe your failures as data points for improvement. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this to try again, smarter? Cultivating self-discipline is the true key to keeping going when motivation wanes. As Hill emphasized, Discipline turns ordinary efforts into extraordinary achievements. It's like a boxer who gets knocked down but gets up every time, round after round. Without discipline, failures can derail you permanently, but with it, they become stepping stones. Building positive habits is essential for this. Start with daily reflections on your setbacks. Journal about what went wrong and what you'll do differently next time. It's a simple habit that fosters growth. Consistent goal reviews keep you aligned, ensuring you're always preparing for the next try. Routine small actions, like spending 10 minutes each day on skill building, maintain your momentum. Try a failure debrief after each setback. Analyze it quickly and plan your comeback immediately. Developing a clear vision and goals provides the direction you need to persist through tough times. Crystal clear goals act as your compass, motivating you to keep trying even after failures. For instance, after a career setback, set a specific goal like secure 3 new interviews this month to stay focused. As Hill believed, definite goals fuel the persistent drive, turning failures into fuel for success. Break your goals into actionable, failure-proof steps to ensure steady progress. Here's a simple guide. First, identify the root cause of your failure. Second, set a revised goal with clear milestones to track your advancement. Third, create a timeline for your retries so you're not left wandering aimlessly. Fourth, build an accountability by sharing your progress with a mentor or friend. Adapt this template to your situation. Write down your goal, break it into steps, and commit to action today. Remember, success isn't about never failing. It's about rising each time you fall. As we've explored, motivation follows action, not the other way around. Napoleon Hill's wisdom reminds us that true achievers are those who continue trying even after repeated failures. Each attempt builds the resilience that eventually leads to triumph. So, don't wait for the perfect conditions. Start now with whatever you have. Revisit that past failure you've been avoiding and outline a plan to try again. Take that one small step today. It could be the difference between giving up and breaking through. Imagine the satisfaction of turning your setbacks into stories of success. You're capable of more than you know. Keep pushing, keep learning, and keep going. In the face of failure, your persistence defines your future. Let this be the moment you choose to embody that unyielding spirit. Success is waiting just beyond your next try. Go seize it. Let's begin with a powerful truth from Napoleon Hill. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. This quote reminds us that failure isn't the end. It's merely a detour on the road to achievement. Imagine starting a new venture with high hopes, only to face a setback like a failed launch. The discouragement sets in, self-doubt creeps up, and suddenly you're tempted to give up entirely. This cycle of enthusiasm followed by failure and then paralysis is all too common. But here's the key. Success doesn't come from avoiding failure, it comes from pushing forward despite it. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He tried over 1,000 times to invent the light bulb. Each failure taught him something new, building his resilience until he succeeded. So, why wait for perfect conditions when action, even after failure, is what truly matters? Now, let's explore why so many people hesitate to try again after a setback. One major reason is waiting for motivation to strike, believing you must feel ready before moving forward. After a job rejection, for instance, you might sit back, hoping confidence returns on its own. But that perfect moment rarely comes, trapping you in a loop of inaction. This myth delays progress and allows missed opportunities to pile up. Another barrier is the failure to decide. where overanalysis takes the place of real steps. Picture a project that flops. You spend days dissecting what went wrong without committing to a new plan. As Napoleon Hill warned, indecision is a form of self-sabotage that halts your next try. It keeps you stuck, turning potential into regret. Then there's fear and uncertainty, which amplify after failure. The anxiety of embarrassment or repeated defeat can feel overwhelming, like an athlete quitting after one loss. These emotions are natural, but they lead to inevitable defeat if not confronted. The solution lies in immediate action, which breaks the cycle and generates momentum. Even if your next step is imperfect, taking it cures fear and sparks progress. For example, after a business failure, revise your product and relaunch right away. This aligns with Hill's principle that action is the antidote to hesitation. Building decisiveness means making firm decisions without delay. Try this. Implement a 24-hour rule. Within 24 hours of failure, choose one small adjustment and act on it. This practice prevents hesitation and keeps you moving forward. Now, let's talk about practicing the first step. Start with something simple and achievable, even in the shadow of failure. If you failed at a fitness goal, do just 5 minutes of exercise today. Right now, think of your last failure and identify one tiny step you can take. Go ahead, jot it down. Overcoming hesitation and fear requires facing them head on through repeated action. Each time you push forward, that fear loses its grip, much like an entrepreneur who tries again after a flop. As Hill taught, action dismantles mental barriers over time. Consider J.K. Rowling, who faced multiple rejections before Harry Potter became a phenomenon. Each no was a lesson that refined her work and built her confidence. Reframe your failures as data points for improvement. Try again, but smarter. This mindset turns setbacks into stepping stones toward success. Next, cultivating self-discipline is the true key to keeping going after failure. It's not about fleeting motivation. It's about the discipline to rise after every fall. As Hill said, disciplined persistence turns ordinary individuals into achievers. Think of a boxer who gets knocked down but keeps fighting. That's the essence of self-discipline. To build it, form positive habits that support ongoing effort. Start with daily reflection, like journaling the lessons from your failures. Review your goals consistently and take routine small actions to maintain momentum. For instance, conduct a failure debrief after each setback. Analyze what happened and plan your next attempt. Make this a daily practice and watch how discipline becomes your greatest ally. Developing a clear vision and goals is essential for sustaining effort through tough times. Crystal clear goals provide direction and motivation even after failure. After a career setback, set a specific goal like secure 3 new interviews this month. This keeps you focused on progress rather than dwelling on the past. As Hill believed, definite goals fuel the persistence needed to succeed. To make your goals failure resilient, break them into actionable steps. Here's a step-by-step guide. First, identify the root cause of your failure. Second, set a revised goal with clear milestones. Third, create a timeline for your retries to keep things on track. Fourth, build an accountability, like sharing your progress with a mentor. Adapt this template to your situation. It's a practical way to ensure continuous forward movement. In conclusion, remember that success follows persistent action, as Napoleon Hill taught us. It's reserved for those who continue trying, even after failure, because each attempt builds the resilience needed to win. Don't let setbacks define you. Let them refine you. Today, take one small step. Revisit a past failure and outline a plan to try again. As you do, you'll discover that motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you create through action. Embrace the challenge, learn from every fall, and keep moving forward. In the words of Hill, don't wait for the storm to pass. Learn to try in the rain. Start now and watch your failures transform into triumphs that lead to the success you deserve.